Welcome to Season 2 of the Tech Vein Podcast. I'm your host, Delvin Santiago. This is the podcast where we take 3 stories that have been happening throughout the week in tech, and I'm bringing it to you so you can be informed. If this is your first time here, welcome. Please subscribe from whatever platform you're listening on if you haven't already. And if this is not your first time, thank you for joining me for another one. So happy to be back after a quick break. A lot of news coming out in the tech world, even though January is pretty slow, but a lot of stuff has been happening. So you already know, stay on the lookout for those new episodes that will be coming out at least once a week. I'm also working on a few projects that I really hope you'll like. I'll have more information on that pretty soon. But for now, to the news. For our acquisition segment, we have Twitter acquiring podcast app Breaker. Both companies announced this on Twitter and their own blog post. So, first things first, will the app stay alive? The answer, no. It's just no. Twitter's going to kill the app. The Breaker app will be shutting down on January 15th, which already happened last Friday. The Breaker team will be joining Twitter to, and I quote, improve the health of the public conversation, unquote, on the service, as well as work on Twitter's new audio-based networking project, Twitter Spaces. Breaker was founded in 2016 and is led by both CEO Berlin and CTO Leah Culver. Breaker changed podcast perception by offering an app where users could like and comment on episodes, discover new podcasts by following friends, and share favorite shows to social media and much more. This continues the trend of acquisitions that other companies are doing for podcast content deals in recent months, including Amazon's $300 million acquisition of Wondery, Sirius buying Stitcher for $300 million, and not to mention all the content deals Spotify has been picking as of late. The only difference with this deal is that it has nothing to do with content, but talent and technology, as TechCrunch refers. So we'll see how the podcast wars keeps going. For our first story of the day, we have Nuru, an autonomous delivery startup, getting the green light to launch their service on California's public roads after receiving their permit from the state's DMV. The permit will allow Nuru to operate commercial services, meaning they will be able to charge for their deliveries in San Mateo and Santa Clara counties. The vehicles have a maximum speed of 25 miles per hour and are only approved to operate in fair weather conditions on streets with a speed limit of no more than 35 miles per hour, which that is a little bothersome. If you're in a residential area, I can see that working pretty well, but what if they have to go, I don't know, on a fast street really quickly? How's that going to go? But I digress. According to Nuru's Chief Legal and Policy Officer, David Estrada, said the intention is to start with its autonomous Toyota Prius vehicles in one city and one partner in the early part of 2021, which they have not announced. The company hopes to eventually transition to its purpose-built R2 delivery bots for its commercial service and add more partners and expand geographically. So, Nuru is the first company to get such a permit, and I can confidently say that they will not be the last to get those type of permits. And as legislation also is trying to essentially adapt to this new technology that is coming, I'm pretty sure more and more companies will be in the game. For the second story of the day, we have Google workers trying to create a union. According to The Verge, Google workers will be unionizing with the Communications Workers of America, or CWA, and it will be open to all employees and contractors at Google's parent company, which is Alphabet. Its goal will be to tackle ongoing issues like pay disparity, retaliation, and controversial government contracts. This is happening because of numerous situations and projects that many workers have disagreed with decisions that management was making. So, to give you some examples, we have Project Maven, which was a project that used AI to improve targeted drone strikes and spark protests among employees who saw the work as unethical. And in 2018, we saw that Google did not renew their contract with the Pentagon. And the company also ended its forced arbitration policy after 20,000 workers staged a walkout to protest the former executive, Andy Rubin, getting a $90 million exit package after being credibly accused of sexual harassment. There are currently about 230 Google employees and contractors that have signed cards in support of the union. According to the New York Times, this will be a members-only union. The new organization won't seek collective bargaining rights to negotiate a new contract with the company. Instead, the Alphabet Workers Union will only represent employees who voluntarily join. That structure will also represent all employees who seek to participate, including temps, vendors, and contractors, which are known as TVCs, who would be excluded by the labor law from conventional collective bargaining. That is a significant key feature about the union. The fact that temps and contractors can join, since that is becoming a larger workforce for Google. According to the American Staffing Association, as of 2019, Google has 102,000 full-time employees, and they have 121,000 temp and contractors. So clearly, what they're doing, and we'll see how this develops. For the third story, we have some Apple hardware rumors courtesy of Minchi Kuo. According to Kuo, we might be seeing the long-awaited AirTags. AirTags is supposed to be a product that is supposed to help you keep track of your personal belongings, meaning keys, wallets, backpacks, and it will notify you on their Apple devices when they are separated from a tagged item. According to John Prosser from Front Page Tech, the AirTags got delayed because of the pandemic. People staying home or should be staying at home as much as they can, which means the product may not be as needed as Apple was thinking about releasing it beforehand, right? Before the pandemic. So that has thrown a little wrench in there. So Apple might be considering releasing it around March, since usually they do have an event around that time. And hopefully the pandemic should be a little bit better by more people vaccinating more and more. So we'll see. When it comes to AR, we have spoken about how Apple has been planning to release Apple Glass, which is their AR glasses that you would be wearing, similar to like Google Glass. Some of the speculations were that Apple may have been releasing Apple Glass towards the end of the year in 2020 as their one more thing. However, we know that just didn't happen. Kuo states that Apple is working on the augmented reality headset, glasses, or both, but he did not specify. Kuo also said that Apple plans to release new AirPods, more Apple Silicon Macs, and its first devices with mini LED displays throughout the year. When it comes to the AirPods, some of the rumors is that they're working on a similar design to the AirPod Pros, but not with all the bells and whistles as the Pros. So to make them a little bit cheaper and reachable for people. And then when it comes to the mini LEDs, there's a lot of rumors on which products may get it. Like some rumors are coming out that maybe the iPads this year might be getting mini LED. I don't know. I think Apple might do the little repetition that they did with the Apple Watch. The first device that got an OLED display for Apple was the Apple Watch. Then it got moved to the iPhone. So we might be seeing the same thing happening for mini LED. Maybe Apple Watch, they'll try it out with the smaller screen. And then if they see some success, they'll move up to the iPhone, then maybe the iPad. But that's just me. That's just my speculation. I don't know. Previous rumors have pointed towards a 12.9-inch iPad Pro and various MacBook models with mini LED displays launching in 2021, offering richer colors, improved contrast, and more. But only time we'll get to see if that really is true. So, I got an interesting bonus story for y'all. So I was reading an interesting article on technologyreview.com about OpenAI and GPT-3. OpenAI is the creator of GPT. The company is based in San Francisco, and they focus on artificial intelligence research. Now, GPT-3 stands for Generative Pre-trained Transformer 3, as in third generation. This is a language model that uses deep learning to produce human-like text. GPT-3 full version has a capacity of 175 billion machine learning parameters. Now, according to Analytics India magazine, the largest language model before GPT-3 was Microsoft Turing NLG, which was introduced in February of 2020 with a capacity of 17 billion parameters, or less than a tenth of GPT-3's. Insanity. And by the way, GPT-3 was released around May of 2020, I believe. So, what did OpenAI did with this? And I quote, "They were able to show that a single deep learning model could be trained to use language in a variety of ways simply by throwing in vast amounts of text. It then showed that by swapping text for pixels, the same approach could be used to train AI to complete half-finished images, unquote. In short, GPT-3 mimics how humans use words. Image GPT-3 predicts what we see. So they were able to create two models from this, which they named DALL-E, D-A-L-L.E, and CLIP. Without getting super specific, it combines language and images to make AIs better at understanding both words and what they refer to. So when they tested this, the results are pretty impressive. The article gives an example of, for example, a stained glass window with an image of a blue strawberry. In the image, you can clearly see many of the images depicting exactly that. However, there were a few that were wrong. It is just impressive that it can just take two unrelated words or images and somehow depict something that will make you think that a human created it. But in reality, it was AI generated. But at this point, we already know artificial intelligence is getting to the point of getting a little bit creepy, like how many people are worried about how Boston Dynamics has been able to create robots that, can dance really well. So it's going to be pretty interesting how this develops even more. So there you have it. Thank you for tuning in to this week's podcast. If you want to continue the conversation or have any suggestions or stories you think I should talk about, you can follow me on Twitter at Bain_tech. If you did enjoy the podcast and want to show your support, there's a link in the description that will take you to my support page, and you can choose how much you would like to contribute. All the content is made independently by me, so any contribution is much appreciated. And of course, please review and share with your friends and family who think will enjoy the podcast. Thank you again, stay safe, and have a nice day.